Steven Seagal has long since been derided as being a slightly ridiculous caricature of his former self, and the late 80s and 90s action movie star has done little to soften people's current views of him after he was spotted cozying up to Kremlin officials and Putin allies at his 70th birthday party in the Russian capital. Today, we are discussing Seagal partying with Putin's allies amid the illegal invasion of Ukraine. Stay tuned. First of all, let's have a little recap of Seagal's career. The American actor and martial artist began his career as an Aikido practitioner in Japan, where he became the first foreigner to own and operate an Aikido dojo in the Asian country. He is a 7th Dan black belt in the martial art, which, however much of a parody he has become, is still pretty impressive. Following his time living in Japan, he moved to Los Angeles, where he carried on his martial arts journey. It was here that he was noticed for his physique and martial arts prowess, and he made his way into movies, admittedly as a latecomer at the age of 36. His first movie was 1988's Above the Law, and he went on to star in many more action films throughout the 1990s, most notably Under Siege and The Patriot. Seagal's first career in martial arts means he has largely been typecast in action roles with a lot of fighting sequences. However, after his early success in the 90s, most of his following movies went straight to video DVD. An avid guitarist, he has also appeared on the score of many of his movies. Seagal also holds joint American, Russian, and Serbian citizenship and is known to be an avid supporter of Russian war criminal Vladimir Putin. Throughout his career, he has also been dogged by allegations of sexual harassment and assault. What have you guys made of Seagal's career so far? Next up, we're discussing his recent birthday party. Stick around to hear this. In a slightly surreal turn of events, it was reported last month that Steven Seagal actually held his 70th birthday party in the Russian capital, Moscow, and of course, in attendance were a who's who of Putin bootlickers. And Seagal, who has made no secret of his admiration for the Russian leader in the past, even going as far as to call him the greatest leader in the world in a vomit-inducing remark, felt comfortable holding the party in the company of Putin allies at the very same time the slaughter of many innocent Ukrainians was taking place. The Putin sycophant, who was given a special Russian passport back in 2016 and was even made special envoy to the former communist state, attended a dinner in honor of his 70th birthday last month at a Moscow restaurant. He also felt comfortable enough to give a speech to his onlooking hangers-on in which he described the people in attendance as his family, telling them he was standing by them. Barf. Those he was referring to included allies of Putin, most of whom have been placed on the sanctions list for aiding and abetting the Russian terrorist president. Seagal, with the help of a translator, told the crowd, "I love all of you and we stand together through thick and through thin." Given what is happening in Ukraine at the moment and the more than 11,000 accusations of war crimes, Seagal should be ashamed of himself. What else did we learn from the party then, other than the fact that there were a who's who of undesirables in attendance, including Russian state TV host Vladimir Soleviev and Russian journalist Margarita Simonyan? We also heard that Seagal, whilst keeping a straight face, actually believes that an outside entity was spreading propaganda. I mean, this guy's 70 years old. He said, "Most of us have friends and family in Russia and Ukraine. I look at both as one family and really believe it is an outside entity spending huge sums of money on propaganda to provoke the two countries to be at odds with each other." Utterly delusional. Back in March, he made similar remarks when claiming that Russians and Ukrainians are one family, this coming after weeks of Ukrainians fighting bitterly to rid their country of its illegal occupiers. He did say that he was hoping for a peaceful resolution, so maybe he could have a word with his old mate Putin to stop his illegal invasion and the systematic slaughter of civilians. His words will come as absolutely no comfort to Ukrainians whatsoever and will more than likely anger most of them. President Zelensky has vowed to hold Russia accountable for their actions, but people like Steven Seagal, who should absolutely know better, are not helping the situation one bit. There are even suggestions that his words will only encourage Putin, who could go on to invade more countries in the region. What have you made of Seagal's behavior? Next up, a Russian soldier has been put on trial for murder in the Ukrainian capital. Earlier this week, a 21-year-old Russian soldier was in the dock facing a murder charge for gunning down an unarmed civilian. Vadim Shishmarin shot dead Alexander Shelepov during the early days of the invasion, and his wife was in court to confront the man responsible. The soldier, whose name we don't even feel comfortable using, shot dead the 62-year-old, who actually worked for the KGB during the old Soviet days, as he was threatened by another soldier to do so. Yeah, right. And during today's trial, Alexander's wife, Katerina, has confronted the young soldier, asking him if he repented his crime. The soldier has admitted his guilt and also apologized to Katerina, but we can't help feeling this is all too little too late. The trial has now ended for the day, May 19th, but will resume again tomorrow morning, where the prosecutor is asking for life imprisonment. The Ukrainians were urged to hold a fair trial in a bid to show the Russians they will not stoop to their level, but it is thought the soldier will be found guilty anyway, as he has already admitted his guilt. There is also a feeling that he has been abandoned by his country, as no Russian officials have made contact. Of course, there is no Russian embassy in Kiev these days, and Putin told the media earlier this week that he has no information about the case. What do you guys think his punishment should be? President Zelensky has been mocking his Russian invaders this week. Stay tuned to hear about it. In a hilarious bit of trolling this week, President Zelensky, who has been hailed around the world for the strength he has shown during these trying times, has mocked his country's invaders for their claim to be using laser weapons. Zelensky has claimed that resorting to using these types of claims shows a sign of the complete failure of the invasion, and of course, his assessment is difficult to disagree with. Russia has a wealth of resources at their disposal, and the state of the invasion so far borders on incompetent. Moscow has said they are using a new generation of powerful weapons, which they have been forced to do thanks to the West providing arms to Ukraine. Oh, sorry, should Western countries have just sat back and watched whilst Putin's troops rape and pillage their way across Ukraine? There have been so many reports of abuse that the West could have almost been held accountable had they not acted. Ukraine's heroic president said, well, in the propaganda of Nazi Germany, there was such a term as Wunderwaffe, wonder weapon. The clearer it became they had no chance in the war, the more propaganda there was about the wonder weapon, which would be so powerful that it would provide a turning point in the war. He then suggested that Russia was trying to find their own version, which points to their failing invasion. What have you guys made of Zelensky's approach? And finally, reports of the status of more than 900 Ukrainian prisoners. Of course, we saw the Ukrainian army hold out in Mariupol for almost 3 months, showing their grit and resilience, but they finally surrendered earlier this week and have since been taken prisoner by the illegal occupiers. Apparently, more than 900 Ukrainian troops have been taken to a prison colony in Russian-controlled territory, which has raised concerns for their safety. As we know, they are protected by the Geneva Convention, but we also know this means very, very little to Putin, so Ukrainians are right to be worried about the fate of their brave countrymen. The prison colony in the town of Olenivka is still in Ukraine, even if Russia believes the Donetsk region belongs to them, and the Russians have since released video of Ukrainian troops being treated in hospital in a pathetic attempt at trying to come across as the good guy. A Russian spokesperson said the soldiers would be provided with qualified medical care. Yeah, right. The sooner Putin realizes he is fighting a losing battle and that Ukrainians are never going to submit to him, the better. Do you guys think that the West should take a more hands-on approach in Ukraine? As always, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to join us next time for some more fun and games. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more fun content going forward, whilst also sharing today's video with anyone you think might be interested. Bye, guys!